Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Barbara van Spijbroek. I'm Communication Director for Asturalia. It is my pleasure to warmly welcome you to this conference of the Belgian Financial Forum entitled The Future of the Insurance Sector, Addressing Key Challenges. And we will address these key challenges together with Etienne Bois-Laurent, Chairman of Asturalia, and your host today, Indra de Witte. Allow me to briefly introduce both of them. Etienne Bois-Laurent has held various financial and operational positions within the AXA Group since 1997. That is including Group Corporate Finance Manager, Head of Controlling for AXA France, Head of Group Investor Relations, Managing Director for AXA Wealth Management in France, Chief Financial Officer for AXA Germany, and CEO for AXA in Hong Kong. In 2019, he joined the AXA Management Committee as Deputy and subsequently Chief Financial Officer. And in July 2021, just before the devastating floods inundated the south part of our country, he was appointed CEO of AXA Belgium and Chairman of the Board of AXA Luxembourg. That same year, Etienne was also appointed Vice Chairman of Asturalia, and since June 2024, he has served as Chairman of our Federation. A fun fact, Etienne Bois-Laurent used to be also an excellent fencer. He became Vice Champion in the French GP Under-16 category and a member of the French Under-18 national team in 82. The questions today will be asked by Indra de Witte. Indra began her career as a journalist with the commercial broadcaster VTM, and in 2000 she joined the VRT, working for Koppen, both as a reporter and a presenter. 3 years later, she moved to Ter Zaken, and from September 2017 onwards, she presented the Zevende Dag. In 2013, Indra became Deputy Editor-in-Chief of the newspaper Het Belang van Limburg, and 2 years later, she was appointed Co-Editor-in-Chief of that same newspaper. Another fun fact. In January 2013, Indra was inducted into the National Order of the Generous Smile, an honorary title awarded by the city of Genk for more than 40 years to people who managed to bring a smile to society, and hopefully to this audience too. Today, she and Etienne will engage in a conversation about the challenges facing the insurance sector today and how insurers are working to fulfill their societal role. Of course, you are more than welcome to ask your questions at the end of the interview. Please don't hesitate. I wish you an inspiring listening experience with these engaging discussion, and Indra and Etienne, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Perhaps you can sit there, Etienne. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on my behalf as well. We're not going to smile a lot because there is nothing to smile about today. There are awards everywhere. We have this special president, US president, that is taking really special decisions on some occasions. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about, well, the digitalization. AI is lurking on the corners. How is the sector coping with it? What is emerging? What sort of innovative new things are there for the sector? And that's why I'm really pleased that I can talk to the new, you're a year, I hear, a new chairman of Asturalia. But can I call you Etienne, or should I say Mr. Bois-Laurent?
No, the first option is correct.
The first option is okay. So
okay.
You can call me Indra. So Etienne, the first thing, when I hear Barbara saying all the titles, all the things you did, you started in Paris, you were in Germany, in Hong Kong, you're here, you're like the CEO of AXA Belgium, now also chairman of Asturalia. Are you human?
You mean it's a lack of consistency?
Yeah.
I think that two things. First, when I was young,
You're still young. I mean, everything under 70 is young.
Thank you very much. And you are extremely young. When I was young, I was really impressed by the potential of Europe. I was naive. And so I decided to move to Germany and to discover really another culture, another country, another way of doing business. I liked it very much, but this was one of the, I would say, differences, distinction I had. And then I joined a group, AXA, which offered me the possibility to have various experiences. And so I was very lucky to be part of this group, which gives a lot of opportunities. I'm making some advertising in case some of you want to join us, of course.
Yeah, but it's a lot. And then you are like going to Hong Kong, then you're coming back, you are like CEO of AXA Belgium, but also this chairman of Assuralia. Why is it important to be the chairman of Assuralia as well? What's the message? What's the importance for you to do that role?
So first of all, I started as a deputy chairman because there was no deputy chairman. Nobody knew me. And
nobody wanted to do
by
that.
By default, there is a new guy coming. Let's give him this title, I would say. And I enjoyed very much the collaboration with Hilde Vernijen, who was the chairwoman, with Hein Lanois, who's the CEO and his team. And I started to appreciate really this Belgian compromise, even if it's a bit tiring.
You started to appreciate it?
Yeah.
The Belgian compromise?
Yes, I think it's a very good way of collaborating. I was fascinated as well by the multilingualism. So each one speaking his own language is very inclusive. So I really enjoyed it. And we had some battles to lead, starting in 21 with the Nat Cats. And it was very exciting. And I saw, as well, I realized how much the protection gap, was really pregnant in Belgium. And
so there was a lot of work to do for a chairman.
I'm not sure it's a lot of work, but at least there is something at stake, which is worthwhile, working on. And the collaboration within Assuralia was excellent. And so it was sort of natural move.
But explain me a little bit. You're a Frenchman at the head of a Flemish organization. How did people react on it?
No, I think they are very inclusive. So, but this is a characteristic of the Belgian people. They are more open-minded than any other.
Really?
It's
a good
people
thing.
in Europe. And you know that, but you always ask, so how do you think we are? And I always say, you are fantastic, and they like it.
We can end this discussion, ladies and gentlemen.
You want to hear that all the time. I don't know anybody who's unhappy here to live in Belgium.
Okay, but from your point of view, you're the excellent man to look at the challenges that are ahead on macroeconomic perspective. What is ahead for the insurance sector? From your perspective, what can you see? And perhaps because you were talking about society, perhaps we should start there at the societal challenges. What do you see?
So I think first, insurance business is not an industry like any other one, because we have a role in terms of protecting the society and also financing the country. And this is not always very well understood. So there is a lot of education, and it's part of our job. And I think the team of Assuralia makes a fantastic job in terms of explaining to the various governments, the various ministers, all the stakeholders in Belgium. It's a permanent work. It's not easy.
It's strange, though, that it's not well known, the role of assurance companies, what role they can play for society. How come?
So first of all, when you ask young people, do they want to join an insurance company, the answer is in 100% of the cases, no. Not because they don't like it, just because they don't know what it is. So it's not an industry where you can touch the product. So you don't understand all the time what is it, how does it work? And it's not banking, it's a bit different. Everybody understands what banks do and how it works.
Yeah, but banks are sometimes hated as well.
Hated?
Yeah.
So I would say banks are now hated, insurance companies a bit less. because I think the risk awareness is growing. It's growing because risks are everywhere, and everybody understands that insurance companies have to play a role in the society. And it's a new trend. So I don't think we are hated. We can be misunderstood, but not hated.
What would be when you say that we have this big role in society to play, how would you explain it to people? Explain it to me as one who is not working with an insurance company. What is the biggest role? Why should I love the insurance companies?
So we don't want to be loved. I think we want our role to be understood and accepted as a fundamental tool to make the economy and the country work. So I think you are insured, and you know perfectly well what I mean. You have a home, and if there is a fire, you would like us to repair your home. So insurance is about mutualization. So everyone pays a little bit, and a minority of victims get the money from the others. Sometimes the people say, look, I've been paying insurance contracts for 10 years, I never got anything back. They don't understand what mutualization is. They are lucky because they were not the victims. But there is sort of misunderstanding. They think a lot of money was made on our back. I don't see the return. It's not a financial investment, right? It's really mutualizing the mass to protect the minority of victims. This is it.
Yeah, and that's something that is perhaps not enough understood. That's one of the big challenges, I think, to explain it to the people. But I'm not hearing you talk about, for instance, regulation. And when I talk to a lot of insurance people, they are telling me all the time, all these regulations, that's one of the biggest challenges that we have. So how do you look at that one?
So when at Assuralia we hear that there's a new regulation, we are super happy because we are full of hope. And indeed, the regulation is aimed at helping the population, helping the society work in a more efficient way, in a better way. And there are good things with the regulation, you know. DORA, for instance, brings some clarity and some professionalization on how to manage ICT. Solvency rules, help us manage the balance sheets and protect ultimately the customers and the society. More recently, in the Arizona program, they have proposed to increase the contribution to the second pillar, so the pension, up to 3%. They have also decided to bring in place, to set up a new mechanism in case of natural catastrophes, which does not exist today. So regulation is not a bad thing in itself. The point is that sometimes it's a lot of bureaucracy, and it can generate a lot of hidden cost.
So the problem starts with too much regulation, not regulation as such.
If you look at the EU directives since 2008, we went from 15 to 70. It's a lot. And each and every new directive brings with it more complexity and more cost. And this is a criticism we are getting more and more, which is insurance solutions are too costly. But of course, they reflect part of the complexity of the regulation, including the solvency, so the capital we have to put in place to protect the people. So, and this is a bit tricky.
Yeah, this is a bit tricky, and you're smiling. So it's a lot tricky. It's a big problem.
So there was a Draghi report, which was for the financial sector and in general very much recommending to simplify all the processes. And
which is a good thing, to simplify, to make more transparency.
Absolutely, but we don't see it coming yet. I think it's a bit belated, I would say. So in a nutshell, regulation is not a bad thing. And at Assuralia, we are extremely open-minded with any new either regulation or political decision. We are not defensive. But then the implementation might be super complex. Sometimes to protect a very small part of the population, we have to make the rest of the population pay for it. So there is no free lunch. And all of this leads to complicated discussions with the regulators and the politicians.
Yeah. So these complicated discussions are not a problem, but we need a transparency. The goal is clear, but the way to get there is long, I understand. When you look from this helicopter point of view to the Belgian market, what do you see?
So I see a huge protection gap, more than in the other OECD countries.
What do you mean by a protection gap?
So insurance represents 6% of the GDP in Belgium, 9% in the average of the OECD, which means that we protect less in Belgium than in other countries. Let me illustrate that with 3 points. The first one is the life market is underdeveloped. We know all the discussions with the second pillar, so the pension. We're all aware that the replacement rate of your last salary is 45% in Belgium, 54% on average in Western countries.
That's a huge gap.
Huge gap.
So almost 10%.
So, and in Belgium, luckily enough, the date of the retirement is, evolves and is being pushed back, unlike in France, where people don't understand how it works, but it's not sufficient, right? So you need to favor supplementary savings plans to have the population be protected at the date of retirement.
But that's very expensive. You say the politicians need to...
It's expensive, and this is the problem. I think when we discuss with the politicians, they all understand the gaps. They are all in a way supportive in a one-on-one discussion, but then there are so many priorities and so many parties that there are very often trade-offs, and we might lose, a lot of, lobbying and efforts for the good cause, because suddenly we have to manage in Belgium, I don't know how many billions for the defense industry, and there is no money to favor, tax-wise, some very interesting protection programs.
Isn't there a risk when you say, well, the politicians are aware of this gap and they know that we need to do something, but there are so many other priorities that we are waiting for Godot, that we are waiting forever?
But look, it's a question of all the time compromises. I think the higher you go into the government, the more difficult it is to make these trade-offs. We cannot do everything. So we understand that. We have some understanding. Our job at Assuralia is not to push for any kind of initiative. It's just ensuring that we also put as a top priority what is really a survival question. And I give you one example. The Nat Cat regime doesn't work in Belgium. The only country in Europe where it doesn't work.
How come?
Why? Because when you sell a home insurance contract, the Nat Cat guarantee is compulsory, right? When a guarantee of this kind is compulsory, the insurance sector as such cannot guarantee alone that in the case of a very large cat, which is a systemic risk where the mutualization doesn't work, we cannot guarantee financially that we can pay for everything. And therefore, the governments, regions, federal government, and so on, have to put in place a mechanism where at a certain stage they intervene and they guarantee to the population that they will be reimbursed or protected.
Yeah.
This regime, this organization does not exist today in Belgium.
But it does exist elsewhere.
Yes, so you have two options. In France, it's guaranteed, so the state, they have put in place reinsurance schemes and then ultimately is responsible for the protection of the population. Or you have the German system, which is very different. In Germany, the guarantee is not compulsory. So then there is no problem. Each insurance company can say, I will cover you 100% or not. But it's a completely different approach. So most of the German population is not protected in case of natural catastrophes.
Yeah.
So in July 21, the NatCat in Wallonia had a total cost of around 4 billion. In Germany, 40 billion. The insurance companies paid 5 billion, and the governments and the federation, so the regions and the federation, paid 35 billion euros. It's a very different mechanism. There is no surprise.
And how come that we are not capable of doing so? Is the Belgian market too small? Can't we do that?
No, it's not a question of size. I think first, what you have to know is that in Belgium, there is no mutualization of the NatCat risks between the regions. This decision was made a few years ago.
Yeah, every region is
Every
responsible
region
for its
is
own,
responsible for its
yeah,
own business,
yeah.
which is a complete nonsense. So
You have to do it on national level, you
of
say.
course, because then you have the beginning of some mutualization. For this, there is no question. We should do that. So I'm not against, I don't want to have a discussion about the merits of mutualization, everything in Belgium. Here, it has nothing to do with political decisions. It has nothing to do with education or whatever. It's more national protection gap, which we need to organize. It's like the army and the defense industry. You are not going to say each region or each city is going to have its own army.
Alone. Yeah.
So the NatCat regime is exactly the same. So we should mutualize everything, but with rules which the population can understand. Today, I think that no one in this room is able to understand, if you look at your home insurance contract, what will happen if there is a natural catastrophe? What will be the indemnity you will get? No one is able to do it because the regulation is too complex and too uncertain.
Yeah. What do we do with other big disasters, like cyber attacks, for instance, for bigger companies? Because now you were talking about individuals, but what about bigger companies? Are we capable of doing that one?
So cyber is the question is more. So first of all, you have different markets with cyber risk. For the very large international companies, they find the capacity, they have the awareness, they have audit of their IT system. So I would say the system works more or less. It can be costly, but it works. But Belgium is a market of smaller companies and SMEs and mid-market, not very large. For this, I think we can make some progress. Because of course the larger the company, the easier it is for the company to pay for it. The smaller the company, the less willingness the company owners has to pay for a protection. But so it goes with putting in place better IT risks solutions, so prevention services.
More standardized packages, or what are you talking about? No, it's not necessarily.
No. It's a question of because we don't have, the statistical data of the past. There are no reliable. They are just, the risks are skyrocketing. So it's very difficult to set a price, an average price on cyber risk. So what you have to do to be able to insure companies, you must understand the IT risks they have. So there is a question of setting up the teams for that and ensuring that you have the capacity not to sell this product. So it will take some time, but I'm pretty confident that the cyber risk insurance will develop regularly over time in Belgium.
So there will be a future for that one. Let's talk about the service and the distribution model that exists in Belgium, because you can compare also with elsewhere. And I think this is really something special for our country, that we have these intermediaries. How do you look at that? Is there still a future for that one?
So it's true that the Belgian market is extremely intermediated. It has to do with the culture, with the geography, with the regulation, with a lot of things. And the distribution mix between banks, brokers, direct is not moving that quickly. It's pretty stable. However, what we see is first a concentration among the brokers,
Some sort of consolidation?
consolidation,
Yeah.
which is accelerating at the moment.
And what does it mean for the market, for them? Because when there is a consolidation, what will it mean then? Will the other ones disappear? I can imagine that in consolidation, it are more the bigger ones and the middle-sized brokers that are consolidating. What about the smaller brokers?
So the consolidation is very true for the corporate market, where you need a variety of competences, so very strong expertise. You need to be able to face the regulation and so on. So, but I don't think that it puts in danger the smaller brokers.
Why not?
There is something which struck me when I came to Belgium was Portima, which is a sort of IT supplier able to support the smaller brokers. In most other countries, you don't have a Portima, and therefore the IT cost, the digital cost, and so on are much higher than in Belgium.
Than here.
So
Yeah.
I think this is a very strong element supporting the smaller brokers. And then I think the consolidation is also it's favored by the fear of AI.
Yeah. How
What
will
will
AI
happen,
play a
and
role
also
in
by
it?
the very high valuation. So people think, okay, there is an uncertainty, and at the same time, I can get a very high price for my business.
Yeah. You were talking about AI, and I can imagine when you look at the brokers as well as the intermediaries, how will AI play a role in that? Won't it disappear then quicker, or how do you see that? Is it something that will exist besides? How do you see that?
So AI is not a topic specific for the insurance industry, of course, because we use AI in our daily life. So it's there, and we will work more and more with AI solutions. So what happens at the level of the insurance sector is we see that the employees of the insurance companies, but the intermediaries as well, will be augmented in a way. So they will be able to deal more precisely, more quickly,
More personalized also.
more
perhaps.
personalized with all their clients, which is a good thing. We see also that the risks which are not complex, so more commodity-like risks, might be more and more automatized, digitized, and this might have a relation with the distribution mix in Belgium. But things are moving pretty slowly, so we still have time. We have not decided at Assuralia to focus on AI as such because we are competing with each other and because there are no standardized AI solutions where we would need as an industry to organize ourselves. What we see in Western Europe, because Belgium is not different from the other countries from this point of view, is that where we see AI progress is really contact centers.
As you see with banks as well, you replace it by putting the people directly online, directly to the products that you have. Do you see that emerging as well because of the AI?
So the progress is very slow. So it's we gain productivity overall, but it's still the beginning. It's in other sectors, it's very quick.
Yeah.
In insurance, it's always it takes always a bit more time because our business is about complex situations with clients, you know.
And trust as well, I
It's
think.
claims management, you cannot automatize it in such a simple way. Each case is very different. So we are tankers. In the insurance industry, it's managing tankers. So we see contact centers, underwriting, claims, coding as the four main domains where progress is really visible.
Yeah, but at the end, what would you say to the audience? Should we shift more customers towards these digital opportunities, to these digital applications or not?
I think it's not a question of decision, it will happen.
It will happen.
It will happen, but more for the standard products. complex products, I think that intermediaries will not be, avoidable. I believe more in the augmented workers rather than in,
Replacement. It's not replacement, it's next to the work.
But this is a good news because we will lack resources to manage the insurance operations in Belgium.
Explain a little bit.
The pyramid of ages does not exist anymore. It has become a cylinder, right, from this to this. So there are less and less people available on the market. And so the AI is a way for us to continue to serve the customers while we cannot find people.
So that's an opportunity, in fact, for the sector.
This is an opportunity.
Yeah. How the sector, you say it's going very slowly with AI, so I suppose that the sector is not adapting very quickly to AI as well?
No, when I said slowly is at scale. So I think that most insurance companies have developed a lot of AI solutions, but we don't see it, the effects or the impact at scale yet in our business. But it's going to come, and there is no debate around that.
How would you convince people then to adapt quicker? Because I understand there's a huge opportunity as well. So how would you say, what would we do, could you do as a sector federation to have this adaptation more quickly with the people within the sector? What could you do?
No, first of all, at the sector level, we discussed a lot about the difficulty to recruit and retain our own people. We discussed that as well.
That's what you said, we have not enough people.
Yes,
yeah.
But there is also a lot of turnover among the young people. We discussed that with the brokers, with the bank agents. Everybody is faced with the same problem. And therefore, there is an opportunity for us to leverage AI as really as the solution to continue to serve our customers. Second, I think the way the customers will interact with insurance companies or with the brokers, intermediaries, will change quite a lot.
In what way?
You see that if you go to ChatGPT and ask what is the best life insurance, health insurance for me, you had the possibility to get directly into contact with insurance companies, but this works mostly it's not completely used, but we see it rising month after month. But it will be for standard risks, certainly something which is going to evolve.
Yeah, I still think, as you say, me too. First, I will go to Perplexity or Claude AI to ask what's the best insurance that I can get. But then afterwards, when it comes to the point that I have to take this insurance, I like the system in Belgium. I like that I can see a human and talk to him and say, well, I need this and this. Do you think it's a good idea? Because Perplexity told me this and this. So there's a beauty in that as well. So
this is why I like the Belgian people.
Because it will exist
there
for a long time.
There is this humanity, you know. But you will see, because we see that in other countries, that the number of people interacting digitally only with banks, neobanks, insurance companies, direct insurance companies is rising.
Yeah.
And
so that will happen in Belgium as well?
I think it will happen, but over time. You know, there is still some time, and I think even that, to get back to your initial questions, the small brokers, if they are good commercially, if they understand their business, they will not lose customers. I don't think so.
They will use AI, but they will not disappear because of AI, as a conclusion.
I remember when I joined AXA, it was around 2000. I was said, brokers and agents are dead, right? Because this intermediation model is old-fashioned. And with the digital capabilities, they reinforce their positions.
Yeah, they're not dead. There's a new era, in fact. There's a new...
And so technology helps the subscale organizations to survive, because it reduces their cost and their competitive disadvantage. Before, I remember we said, or it was said, the bank agencies
yes.
will take 100% of the market. I'm speaking about retail business. And it never happened because the brokers, independent brokers, the tied agents, with the digital capabilities, they were capable to offer a sort of mini agency from a digital point of view, offering their mobile number, which the client can call 24/7.
24/7, yes.
While in the banks, their organizations became too costly. They had to close the agencies, and therefore the revolution never happened.
And you have an
the
advantage,
market share
in fact.
didn't move that much.
Yeah, you have an advantage, in fact. Let's talk about something else, because you mentioned it a little bit, like the insurance sector as an institutional investor. Let's talk about that a little bit. What is so difficult to understand that? What is the opportunity that you see in the role as an institutional investor for the insurance companies?
So the insurance companies have a huge advantage. They have a very large and strong balance sheet. And this balance sheet entails a lot of assets. And these assets are invested long term. And this is why it's so important for economies to benefit from this funding. We invest in Belgium a lot in HOLO, so the bonds, the Belgian government bonds. It's fundamental to finance the economy and the country. We invest a lot in corporate bonds, so we finance the private companies. So all of that is fundamental. If you reduce the weight of the insurance sector, you will see the investment decisions going away, being taken by third parties, maybe outside of Belgium. And so this is why it's so critical to have a strong insurance sector in Belgium. And we can say the same for the banking sector. So weakening the financial industry, banks and insurance in Belgium is a terrible mistake. I know the financial sector doesn't have a very strong reputation, but it's fundamental for the economy. If you kill the financial sector, there will be no economy in the country.
Yeah, still, it's a story that a lot of people don't know about. And even when you talk to our politicians, it's something that is perhaps misunderstood.
Yeah, I think it's not always obvious for the people to understand these mechanisms. True. But not only in Belgium.
Not only in Belgium. What is
No.
the role? How could we even expand that role? Because when people do not know about it, even our politicians do not know about it, well, yeah, the role isn't to play as much as we should do. So what could you do to augment that, to improve that?
So we were recently with Mr. Jan Bon, and we told him, look, you have a budget deficit to finance the defense industry. Let's talk about it together. So we're in discussion now with the SFPEM to see how can we contribute to finance the infrastructure. Because the defense is not only the weapons, which is not the primary asset in which we would be
It's not only
investing.
the weapons, it's also the, it's
Weapon,
especially
it's
the
20%
infrastructure.
of the budget. All the rest, it's about training, buildings, equipments, administration, and so on. So,
What would be the role of the insurance companies to play in that one?
so we can invest in all the projects related to infrastructures. Infrastructure for the army, infrastructure for the to protect against natural catastrophes, any kind of infrastructure, as long as we can transform these projects into something we can finance with a return on investment.
Are you doing it already? Are there some good practices in the
Yes.
field of defense that we're doing as a sector?
So in the defense, precisely, it's beginning, I would say. But we are completely open-minded. We have discussions. It's not easy to start because you need a lot of expertise, not only from our side, but also on the government side and the SFPI side as well.
But as you say, it's something new and you need expertise. Where are you going to get this expertise? Where are you going to find it?
No, there is expertise. You have experts in infrastructure everywhere. So I give you a concrete example. Where the government leads in priority right now to finance are casernes, right? And when you want to refurbish caserne, it's a classical real estate project, nothing to do with the army in terms of expertise, but it's pretty technical because when you refresh completely buildings, it's more risky than creating new buildings. So here, you know, what is the certainty that the budget will be respected? How much does it cost, and how much return will it bring? So this is one example. Yeah.
What would you expect from our politicians to play this role in the defense sector and the defense industry, to do that to the full? What would you say to our politicians to
No,
do?
what they want is that we come with solutions. You know, they are not interested in our problems. They want us to help them. So this is a way we try to position ourselves as Assuralia, is always to come not with a problem only, which is not what they need, but more ideas, solutions.
In like a quarter, you will go to the minister. So you're lobbying a lot with our politicians. How difficult is it to convince them of the role of Assuralia, of the brokers, of the insurance companies?
So first of all, there is a big advantage in Belgium. All the ministers, all the decision makers are accessible, approachable.
And that's
Yeah.
different from
Very different from
countries
Germany
abroad.
and France, especially from France. France, if you want to speak to a minister, he will not even know that you want to talk with him. You have to start with the N-10, and each step is, you know, it's just awful. So here, because nobody has really alone the power, it's a culture of compromise, and therefore each one has an interest of talking and meeting others. So I was amazed by the willingness of the Premier Minister, it was De Croo now about the weather, to meet us in a very informal, easy way. People are available, you know, even those who are not really fans of private sector. They are completely approachable. I like this. The point is that you have the impression that people understand you, that you would be, if you were in one-on-one, if we could make a decision, the two of us, we would make a decision, but they have not the power to make decisions.
Well, that's a problem.
And this is the problem of Belgian politics. So you need time, it's long-term, it's tough, but sometimes you have good surprises.
Good surprises. I hope this afternoon there will be some good surprises. When I ask you to give me the top 3 of the biggest challenges that you see for the insurance market here in our country, what would be your top 3?
So I spoke about natural catastrophes. This is a necessity. Then I would put, I would say the life business, pension business. I told you it's underfunded. And so not only the second pillar, but the third pillar as well. Third pillar, which is a complementary saving for the retirement. Here in Belgium, it's around 2,000 euros. It's 30,000 euros per person in France. So a couple has 60,000 euros. It's not the same. And the fourth pillar is booming in most European countries, but not in Belgium, because the level of taxes is much too high.
Yeah. When I hear you sum that up, I would be like a little bit pessimistic. Do you see still a bright future, or do you say, well, it's okay not to work in the sector in the future because it will be difficult?
So, you mean in Belgium?
In Belgium,
In
yeah.
Belgium? No, look, I see the potential. When a sector is underdeveloped, I see the potential more than, you know, a sort of runoff mode. So there is plenty to be done. The country is pretty agile, I think. So it's smaller than Germany or than France, but therefore it can also move in a more agile way. So this is something you feel. And I'm not overly pessimistic for Belgium as such. I have more questions for the whole Western Europe. So the EU, I think we have huge challenges from different, and Belgium is part of EU. So the real challenge for me is more the European level. How are we going to succeed in having a system which works more than Belgium in itself, where you have always the possibility to discuss and to bring new ideas.
Yeah, but we're not an island. We are part of the European Union. So what will be our future within the European Union? How do you see, what's the role that the Belgian sector could play within the European field?
So look, I think when I look, I'm not going to answer in terms of insurance, because insurance is just part of the role of Belgium in Europe. When I look at the level of education in Belgium, everybody complains that the level of education is poor. It's much higher than in other countries. The level of wealth per inhabitant
It's also very high.
#1 in Europe.
Yeah,
The country is poor, but the people are not poor.
that's a good thing.
The location,
In the
location
middle.
in Europe, in the middle, with the transport infrastructures. Fantastic to go to London, Paris, and Düsseldorf, less to move within Brussels. The multilingualism, which brings a lot of agility of the people. If you look at this, this is a huge asset. And the frustration is just that if we were playing that well, we would be here, #1 in Europe. In terms of model, in terms of inspiration, innovation, we would be #1. Because there is also this entrepreneurial spirit with all the startups, a lot in Flandern, but starting to grow as well in Wallonia and in Brussels, of course. This is not that common.
So we are sort of ecosystem within Europe, and we should be the example, you say.
So, you know, I always say that. I hate when people in Belgium say we are a small country. Because
We're a
it's wrong.
big country, but on a small place.
It's wrong to say we are a small country. Because in Luxembourg, they don't say we are a small country. In Hong Kong, where I lived, they never say we are a small country. It's true, because it's a very large country. They belong to China now. But Belgium is not small. It's an excuse, right? We should be aware of all the assets and benefits we have here, and to be much more ambitious.
Yeah, much more proud, much more ambitious. A little bit the combination of the Netherlands and the French people together, and then say Belgium is a big country.
I don't know if you want to take part of the French. I don't know what is good in France to be taken.
The food
Yeah,
is
still?
good. The
Okay,
food is
we'll
good.
see.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I will give you the occasion to ask some questions as well, because that's what we're here for. So please do not hesitate, ask your questions, and perhaps you can do it in your own language as well. We can translate, of course, but please ask your questions as well.